All right, so are you ready? Get ready to like dive deep into this Champions League match. Benfica versus Barcelona.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, this one was a wild one.
This one was crazy. Now, I
So
know
5-4?
5-4 Barcelona.
Yeah.
You see that and you think, okay, typical, right? Barcelona just kind of rolled over them.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
not even close.
no, this game was a complete roller coaster.
There's so much happened.
We had a hat trick. We had own goals galore.
Yeah.
A last-minute winner. We even had a red card for a player that wasn't even on the field.
It was crazy.
So set the scene for us. We're in Lisbon, Portugal. It's Benfica's home turf.
Rainy night.
Rainy night, atmosphere's electric.
Yeah.
Right. And then,
Right out the gate.
boom, Benfica scores within minutes.
Unreal start.
Unreal start. I mean, how often do you see Barcelona like on their heels right out of the gate like that?
Right, yeah. No, you don't. It was incredible. Benfica's Gonçalo Ramos. He was on fire that
He was
night.
the man.
Racked up a hat trick, really put his team in the lead. And I mean, for a while there, it felt like Barcelona might actually,
Yeah, you'd expect a team like Barcelona, like known for their dominance, to just kind of shake off an early goal
Yeah.
and cruise to victory.
Exactly.
But this Benfica squad,
They were relentless.
they were not letting up.
Yeah, they were hungry for it.
Yeah. And I think the turning point came
That penalty kick, yeah.
when Barcelona was awarded that penalty kick.
Converted it, and that's when it felt like, okay, maybe they can come back from this.
Yeah, that seemed to spark them.
Sparked something in them, yeah. But you know what else we got to talk about? The defense.
Oh, the defense. Or should I say lack thereof.
On both sides.
On both sides. Honestly, it was almost comical at times.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
2 of Barcelona's goals, those were own goals from Benfica players.
I felt like every time they went to clear the ball, it just
ended up right back in their own net.
yeah.
And let's not forget the goalkeeping.
Oh, the goalkeeper?
I mean, first it was Barcelona's Marc-Andre Ter Stegen.
Yes, Ter Stegen.
Just some really questionable decisions with his positioning, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
And then Benfica's Anatoly Trubin seemed determined to outdo him.
Outdo him.
Second half.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because they were both using this high line strategy.
Yeah.
Their teams were employing, which, as the commentators were saying, they were even joking, like, who had the worst high line? We need a poll.
Right. I mean, a high line, it can work, but
Risky.
it's risky, yeah. Pushing your defensive line way up the field.
Yeah. So it can create those offside traps
Offside traps, exactly.
and give
yeah.
you some offensive opportunities. But,
If the opponent breaks through,
oh, man.
wide open.
It's like a wide open goal.
Yeah, it's a calculated risk, and in this match,
Did it pay off?
no, it definitely backfired for both sides. It made for some pretty exciting moments, but also some head scratchers, I'll be honest.
Yeah. So despite all of this back and forth, Barcelona somehow managed to pull it out of the bag, claw their way back from a 4-2 deficit.
Mhm.
What do you think was the key to their resilience?
Well, they definitely started to exploit those high defensive lines a little bit more effectively.
Yeah.
Using those short corner kicks, creating just pure chaos in the box. And they just played with such tenacity. They didn't let that early deficit rattle them.
No. And the finish. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, the finish.
Talk about a dramatic finish.
Ah.
Like the dying minutes of the game.
It could have gone either way.
Benfica almost had a penalty opportunity.
Right.
But Barcelona stole the ball, launched a counterattack, and boom, winning goal.
Oh, yeah.
It was breathtaking.
It was unreal.
It was unreal. Even the post-match analysis, people were divided.
Yeah, I mean, some experts were just acknowledging the fact that, hey, Barcelona won. That's all that matters.
Right.
But then others were pointing out all those defensive vulnerability.
On both sides.
Both sides. Like, you can't ignore that. One commentator even said, the comeback was impressive, yes, but these types of defensive lapses, that shouldn't be happening.
At this level.
At this level of play.
Yeah. It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
And then, of course, the red card incident.
Ah.
Just adding insult to injury.
Salt in the wound.
Arthur Cabral, not even on the field.
On the bench.
Gets sent off.
For unsportsmanlike conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. I mean, it's a reminder that even on the sidelines,
You're still in the game.
you can get caught up in
You
it.
can get a red card. I don't know.
Yeah.
The commentators were surprised. It was Cabral who got the red card and not the Benfica coach.
Oh, I know. He was animated.
Because he was very
On sideline.
animated on the sidelines. You could just feel that tension.
Yeah, radiating from both benches.
Radiating from both benches. So look, I think everybody watching, whether they were in the stadium or at home,
Yeah.
we were all on this roller coaster of emotions.
It was incredible.
Benfica, despite the loss, I mean, they put up a fantastic fight.
Absolutely.
And they made this one of the most entertaining, unpredictable matches of the season, I think. I mean, what are your thoughts on Benfica's performance? I mean, did their aggressive style ultimately backfire, or did it make for a more exciting match?
Let us know in the comments what you think. We'd love to hear your perspective.
And of course, if you're enjoying this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful analysis and hit that like button. And for those of you who want to support the show and get access to exclusive content, check out our Patreon page. The link is in the description. We'll be back in just a moment to unpack even more from this wild match.
Absolutely. We'll see you then.
Welcome back. So before the break, you asked a really interesting question. Did Benfica's aggressive style ultimately backfire? I think it's worth digging into that a little bit more, because this wasn't just, a back and forth on the scoreboard. It was almost like two different games happening at the same time. Yeah, it was a real clash of styles. I mean, Benfica, obviously, they were the underdogs playing at home. They came out with this, incredibly aggressive, high-pressing style right from the kickoff.
Oh, yeah, from the whistle.
They were clearly trying to disrupt Barcelona's usual rhythm.
And for a good while there, they did. I mean, that early goal, within minutes, that was a statement. They forced Barcelona to adapt. And, I mean, they looked uncomfortable for a while. It seemed like Benfica had really done their homework.
Yeah. They anticipated that Barcelona possession-based game.
Yeah.
And then Gonzalo Ramos, I mean, the guy was, on fire.
3 goals, a hat trick.
It felt like every time he touched the ball, he was going to score.
He was a threat. His performance was a masterclass in finishing, but also in Benfica's overall tactical approach, right? They pressed high, they forced turnovers, they created so many chances.
Yeah. And then you have Barcelona, obviously known for their tiki-taka style.
Yeah.
Those short passes, constant movement, maintaining possession. They seem to really control the tempo of the game. But here, they were totally caught off guard by Benfica's intensity.
It's true. It's true. Tiki-taka can be incredibly effective at wearing down opponents, but it relies on that precision and composure. And when you're under that constant pressure, like they were, it's harder to execute those intricate passes. So, yeah, I mean, it was fascinating to see them struggle to find their flow, their usual flow.
Yeah. And then, on top of all that, we had those defensive errors.
Oh, yes, on both sides.
It's like both teams just forgot how to defend.
I mean, it made for an exciting match, but also a little confusing to watch.
Yeah.
Those errors, I think, were a byproduct of the high-risk, high-reward strategies that both teams were using.
Yeah, that high defensive line.
High line. When you push up that far, you're leaving so much space behind. So if the opponent breaks through that first line of pressure, well...
It's a clear run at goal. So, yeah, it's a gamble. And in this match...
the gamble didn't always pay off.
No, it did not. It led to some pretty comical own goals and some nervy moments for both goalkeepers.
For sure. Finding that balance between attacking intent and defensive solidity, that's the real challenge. Even the best teams in the world struggle with it sometimes.
And it really highlights how crucial the communication and coordination is between, especially the goalkeeper and that back line when you're employing a high line.
Couldn't agree more. Speaking of goalkeepers, I mean, both Ter Stegen and Trubin.
Yeah, a night to forget.
They'd probably want to do that one over again.
Yeah. It felt like every shot on target was it was a potential goal.
It's easy to look back and criticize, but it's important to remember they're the last line of defense. And when the whole defensive structure breaks down in front of them, it puts so much pressure on them to make those saves. I mean, think about it. If your team is struggling to contain the opponent's attack, the goalkeeper's often left one-on-one.
It's like expecting a single firefighter to put out a massive wildfire.
Exactly. And in this match, both of them were left exposed because of that high line and all those errors happening in front of them.
So, okay, speaking of these, unpredictable moments, Arthur Cabral, the red card incident, the guy's on the bench, he's not even playing.
Not even on the field.
And he gets sent off.
That's a red card.
Can you explain, how is that even possible? How do you get a red card if you're not playing?
So, even though the subs aren't on the field, right, they're still subject to the same rules as the players that are actively participating. So that means rules against unsportsmanlike conduct, dissent toward the ref, any behavior that's detrimental to the game.
So even if you're just sitting there watching the game, you can get a red card.
Absolutely. In his case, we don't know exactly what he did.
Right.
But from the footage, it was enough for the fourth official, so it happened.
It definitely added another layer of drama to an already crazy match. So what do you think? What do you think about the red card? What about those high line tactics? Anything else that stood out to you about this game? Head down to the comments, tell us what you think. We love hearing from you.
We really do. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into one of the most talked about matches of the season, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. And if you want to support our work and get access to some exclusive content, check out our Patreon page. You'll find the link in the description below.
We're back, and I gotta say, I'm still catching my breath after that Benfica-Barcelona match. I mean, what a roller coaster. What a game. Just what are your final thoughts on this instant classic?
You know, it was one of those matches that just had everything, right? I mean, goals, drama, controversy, and you really didn't know who was going to win until the final whistle blew. We'll be talking about this one for years to come, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. It really makes you appreciate just how unpredictable football can be. You know, on paper, you look at it, Barcelona's the favorite, right? But Benfica came out swinging. They proved that on match day, anything can happen.
Oh, absolutely. It's not always about the big names or, the more well-established style of play. Sometimes it really comes down to who wants it more, who can execute under pressure, and who can capitalize on those little moments that just kind of happen.
And in this match, I mean, both teams were taking risks. They were pushing their limits, and sometimes it backfired. But you had those defensive errors. Yeah, but you also had those moments of brilliance. You had those controversial calls. It all just added up to just a really unforgettable game.
It was a constant push and pull, a battle of tactics and just pure willpower. And even when Barcelona was trailing, you could feel it, that determination to get back in the game. And even in the loss, Benfica, they showed a level of grit and just attacking, flair that, you got to respect that.
Yeah, it's those moments of vulnerability, it's those lapses in concentration, those bursts of inspiration. That's what makes football so great, I think, because it reminds you that even at the highest level, it's still humans playing the game, and we all make mistakes, but we also have those moments of brilliance.
Exactly. And this match was just a perfect example of that. We saw those stunning goals. We saw the defensive blunders. We saw those moments where individuals they took over, and you saw how tactical decisions, they can really change the game. It was like this little microcosm of everything that makes football so compelling.
So what would you say, what's the biggest takeaway you want our listeners to get from this deep dive? What's the one thing you really want them to remember about this match?
I think the main thing is football, it's always changing. It's always evolving. Tactics change. Players, they develop. What worked yesterday might not work today. And you saw that here. Both Benfica and Barcelona, they took those risks with those high defensive lines. And yeah, sometimes it led to some pretty big errors, but it also created some spectacular moments, some amazing goals. It just shows you that to be successful in this sport, you got to be willing to innovate, to adapt.
It's all about finding that balance, the risk versus the reward, always looking for that edge, being willing to adapt. I think that's what makes football so compelling.
Absolutely. And that's what makes these deep dives so interesting. We get to break down the tactics. We analyze these matches. We look at those little details that maybe you missed while you were watching live. So we want to hear from you. What did you guys think about the match, the tactics, the players? Head down to the comments. Let us know. We love to hear your perspective.
Yeah, but if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you subscribe to our channel for more. We've got plenty more deep dives coming up, breaking down those matches, looking at the players, the stories, just everything that makes football the best sport in the world, in my opinion. And of course, for those of you who want to support what we do and get access to some exclusive content, you can find us over on Patreon. The link is down in the description. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep on exploring the beautiful game.